Hello and welcome back to JBCTR, where today you join me at Caffeine and Machine to kick off our road trip to the Highlands of Scotland.
If you love me right, yeah, this could be the summer of our lives now, honey. Give it to me like you know you should now, baby. This could be the summer of our lives, the summer of our lives.
Now, it's early November, which is arguably not the best time to be going right up into the north of Scotland because it's starting to get cold and a bit grim and the roads are going to be greasy. But thankfully, Michelin have very kindly provided us with a set of Cross Climate 2 tyres, which should keep the Mini on the road and keep us nice and safe. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how these perform, and of course I will be letting you know how they're getting on throughout the road trip, and at the end of this video I'll kind of give you my thoughts. And yeah, my first set of all-season tyres, so it should be interesting. But for now, let's have a look around Caffeine and Machine and see what goodies we can find.
Maybe you just wanna be friends, but there is a vibe when we are talking. Maybe you just wanna pretend, but I can read between the lines. Even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting, still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be.
Now, I'm not going to lie, most of the first day was spent on the motorway. We watched the rain dance across our windshield and turn the M6 into nature's bath. But after a couple of short stops, we reached our first destination. So yesterday we travelled from Caffeine and Machine in the Midlands all the way up to where we are now, which is Minto, and that's about 45 minutes to an hour north of the Scottish borders. If we travel up further, which is obviously what we're doing today, we're going to head towards Rogart, which should give us a nice little base to explore up sort of like the northwest of Scotland around John O'Groats and that kind of area. And then from there, I'll probably update you then, because I'm going to be honest, we're kind of making it up as we go along. But that's our plan for the next 2 days anyway. So here we are, we've arrived. I really hope you can hear me because it's quite windy, so I'm trying to sort of cover my mic, which is why I'm standing a bit weirdly. But anyway, this is our accommodation for the next 2 nights. It's like an off-grid cabin type of thing, so I'm kind of looking forward to experiencing that. And yeah, today was not all that fun in terms of driving because we literally just sort of pegged it straight up to here. So we're just north of Ness now, and tomorrow morning we're ready to go and find some really cool roads. So yeah, see you in 2 ticks. And talking of our off-grid cabin, let me show you around because it's pretty interesting. Now, on the inside, it's actually pretty comfy. So we've got this log burner, which we managed to keep going basically 24/7. We had a few points in the night where we had to get up and just sort of stock it up with logs and stuff, but generally that kept the place really quite warm. Over here we've got our rainwater supplied water supply, and we've also got this sort of camping stove that we can cook on. So really, you've got everything you need in there, and it is pretty comfortable. But you may have noticed there isn't a bathroom in there. So let me show you about that. Now, when you need a bathroom, you climb up these steps to what is an actual throne, and you do what you need to do, but yeah, it's kind of straight into a bucket. And if you need to shower, then this is your baby, which is actually quite a clever contraption. So it gathers water off the roof of the cabin and goes into this rather large tank over here. You've then got a 12-volt solar-powered pump that then pumps the water into the shower. And then over here, you've got a gas bottle that heats up the water as it goes through like a mini boiler, and you have yourself a nice shower. But there's one problem, particularly in November. Once we'd sorted our bathroom situation, we went in search of some pretty roads. In the northeast, there's a lot of roads like this. Fast, not that exciting, and with many fields. However, when we did venture off the main roads, Scotland finally started to reveal its magic. Here we are, this is the road, the coastal road along to John O'Groats, and as you can probably see over there, the views across the sea are pretty damn spectacular. It's just a shame that as we got to this road this morning, the weather is a bit pants. But that said, it's a pretty good test of the old cross climates. And I must admit, last night we did test the cross climates. So, in summary, I got flashed by the oncoming cars and immediately there was a sheep in the road. And I did basically the moose test. And it was very scary, not gonna lie. But I genuinely cannot believe how well the cross climates stuck to the road. I mean, there could not have been a better test. I mean, the car didn't even throw up a traction control light. So the fact that they have already saved me from an accident, I mean, it's a huge thumbs up for me, and we're only on day 3. So here we are, we made it just in time before it got too dark, and I must admit the view across there is absolutely stunning. Now in terms of doing the North Coast 500, I have heard that a lot of people sort of cut across this sort of like north section and miss out John O'Groats. And having driven here, I can kind of understand why. Mainly because the roads were, you know, there's nice views, but the roads were like pretty fast. They weren't exactly fun. But it's stunning up here, I must admit, it's really nice. So now we're just going to head back to our off-grid cabin, and then tomorrow we're going to move on to somewhere new and exciting. So we'll pick it up then. One thing with driving around in the middle of absolutely nowhere is that it will probably come as no surprise that the radio signal is pretty patchy, and mobile phone signal is better than I'd expect, but not good enough to stream, which means you kind of have to find your own entertainment on this kind of road trip. And I've decided that I was actually going to talk to my other half, and which is quite nice actually. We decided to put together a list of stuff that we wanted to see. So top on the list is a nice castle, and it's got to have a minimum of 2 turrets because that's a proper castle. We also want to see some Highland cattle. That'd be quite cool, mainly because they're massive and hairy and what else do you want to see?
The Loch Ness Monster?
The Loch Ness Monster. So we'll go to Loch Ness, we'll see if we can find the monster. We'll be the first people to find it, I think. Yeah, so I'm sure we'll update you with this list of stuff that we want to find, but it should be fun.
On our way to redemption, I forgot to mention that I have a strong urge, a thirst for the word. Cold river sighs keep me alive. I stick my tongue out.
As we crossed over to the west coast of Scotland, it became very apparent as to why people from miles around come to be in these amazing surroundings. We headed down the famous Applecross Pass, which was originally a track used to move livestock, but now it's enjoyed by many as part of the North Coast 500. The next morning, we woke in Fort Augustus and started our day with the usual fill-up. Fort Augustus sits at the southernmost point of Loch Ness, which is yet another beautiful spot, and of course, it's home to the Loch Ness Monster. And yes, we did find the Loch Ness Monster, even if we did cheat a bit. We then made our way up to the Glenfinnan Viaduct. So we just finished our walk at the Glenfinnan Viaduct, which you may recognise as the famous bridge used in Harry Potter. Now, from a sort of tourist review perspective, you can sort of go on a footpath that's sort of nice and easy and dry, but it doesn't get that high, or you can go for a short hike and look down on the viaduct, which is pretty nice, but at this time of year, it's a bit muddy. But anyway, so next on the agenda, after a couple of nights sort of not so much wild camping, but just living off-grid, we kind of fancied a spot of luxury. So I opened up the Michelin app to find ourselves a luxurious night for tonight, and we booked at the Monocle Moor, which should be an interesting night stay. And as the dog is clearly keen to get going, I think we should get going. So on the way to the hotel, we decided to swing by this road here, and this you may recognise as James Bond's Skyfall road, but unfortunately the weather is pretty horrendous today and you can't really see too much, so we might swing by here again tomorrow in the hope that we can get some nicer shots and actually see the road. So we've just arrived at Monocle Moor, which I'm pretty sure I pronounced incorrectly earlier, and as always we've arrived at our destination after dark. We can thank daylight savings for that. But I must admit, now I've arrived, oh my word, it's just light years apart from this off-grid living we did like a couple of days ago. And I'm not shitting in a bucket. Apparently the food here is really good, so a bit later we're going to go out to the restaurant and I'll try and see if I can get some sneaky snaps of the food and just show you what that looks like too.
Are we really going to do that?
So after a cracking stay at the Monocle Moor Hotel, which I would highly recommend because the food here is absolutely insane, and I'm not just saying that, the food was absolutely cracking. But seeing as we stayed here because it was recommended by Michelin, I figured this was a good time to talk to you about the cross climates fitted on the Mini. Now, when this whole Michelin thing came about, I was really quite excited. And the reason for that is because I've been using exclusively Michelin tyres since 2014, and that's purely out of personal choice. So the first thing I did for my Mark 7 Fiesta ST back in 2014, I think it was, is I replaced the stock tyres with Michelin Pilot Sport 3s. And the reason I did that is because I thought they gave great performance in the dry, and in the wet, the performance was pretty good still. I've always been happy with the Pilot Sports. When my Mark 8 Fiesta was delivered, it came with Michelin Super Sports on it, which, as I'm sure you know, are absolutely fantastic in the dry and quite good on track as well. But their damp, wet performance is not quite as good as I would like. So again, I switched them out for Pilot Sport 4s this time, because obviously there's a new generation. And I, again, just so happy with them. Now, these are obviously the Cross Climate 2s, which, for all intents and purposes, I consider to be a winter tyre. But these are not actually a winter tyre at all. These are an all-season tyre that happens to be very good throughout the winter. Now, this week, these have been absolutely staggering. I mean, I've been so impressed with them. I think the main difference I would say between these and the Pilot Sport 4s in the wet is actually around the standing water. And all of that is thanks to these extra large grooves, which you can see that go right out the side. And you can also see that the tread almost wraps around the side of the tyre as well. And I believe that that is to help with sort of snow and mud, where obviously it's going to sort of encase the tyre. So this will give you a bit of extra grip on the edges as well. But yeah, all round, these cross climates have been absolutely brilliant. And with that, I think we'll spend some more time on the road seeing what these are like. We're going to go back to the Skyfall road that unfortunately we couldn't really see yesterday. So hopefully today it'll be a bit clearer, and then we'll travel down the west coast past the barn and we'll find somewhere to stay down there. As we travelled towards Glenfinnan, where they filmed Skyfall, the skies cleared, and boy, were we happy we'd returned. So here we are, the James Bond Skyfall road, and I kind of thought I'd set up this whole shot to look a bit like the shot they did in the film, apart from it was an Aston Martin there, not a Mini, and so there's two people sort of stood like this, but here we are, and oh my word, is it beautiful. Like, it is stunning around here, and I find myself saying that a lot. I think this location is extra special because you've got like these raging rivers that run through here, and they just look awesome. But what is also quite cool is, like, a bit further down this road, I think they're building 5 hydro power stations. So it's good to see that not only is it absolutely beautiful, but this area will soon go towards powering our planet. And that is only a good thing. Later that night, we stayed at this very castle, which had the required 2 turrets. But unfortunately, the weather was absolutely pants, so we didn't stick around too long. We cut a corner off our journey by taking this ferry, which turned out to be very rocky given the poor weather, and then we quickly hit Glasgow traffic. Only now, surrounded by motorway traffic, did we realise just how insane the scenery was back in the Highlands, and just how peaceful it was up there. On the way down south, we had a brief stop off in the North Pennines before heading back to Caffeine and Machine. So here we are back at Caffeine and Machine, where it all started. I mean, we've done one hell of a lot of driving. I think we covered just shy of 2,000 miles, which is slightly insane. Now, I must admit, I guess we probably could have planned it better to minimise the mileage, as we kind of just sort of ping-ponged around and went where we felt, really. I mean, we didn't pre-plan accommodation, as you can see from our route if we bring up the map. So it's kind of all over the place, but actually I really enjoyed it. Now, if we talk about those tyres just one last time, I know it's a promo, but promo aside, I would wholeheartedly recommend them. They have been absolutely brilliant, and as I mentioned, they even saved my bacon with a surprise sheep. So if you do fancy a set, then Michelin have kindly set me up a discount code with black circles. It is CC2JB, and that will get you 15% off Michelin tyres or 10% off mail order through black circles. Now, I'm not on commission or anything, but it does track the amount of people who click on that link and who purchase through that link, which will enable me to make more videos like this for you guys at home. So if you do need new tyres, then please use that link, and I will be much appreciative. So there we have it. That concludes our Scotland road trip, and I'm going to go and start socialising with some people and celebrating being back, because I did enjoy it, but it was a lot of driving. So if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of me, the Mini, GR Yaris and other car content, feel free to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.
There goes a sight from my soul.